New tonight, a mother desperate for help took her teenage son to the emergency room one night last December to seek emergency mental health treatment.
Instead of getting the help he needed, the boy was violently assaulted, first by hospital security guards and then by a Lincoln County Sheriff's deputy. And it was all caught on tape. WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner has the story.
It's traumatized him. It's traumatized me.
Jessica Long is watching video of the night she took her son to the emergency room at Atrium Health Lincolnton. She was worried he was having a mental health emergency. Her 16-year-old son didn't want to be there. He was angry, so she asked for security to help get him inside. This is what happened instead.
At no point did they tell him to put his hands behind his back, to stand still. They never tried to de-escalate the situation. They just immediately went for full-blown physical force. The guard shoves him again, hard enough that my son came out of his shoes. I jumped in the middle because the guard was getting ready to tase him, and I was telling him, no, don't tase him. I don't know what's wrong.
While the first guard has his taser drawn, a second guard arrives. The taser's put away and Long headed for her car. She wanted her son to stay and get treatment, but she didn't think this would happen next.
As soon as I turned my back, the second security guard grabbed him around his neck in a chokehold and slammed him down on the ground. He was immediately bleeding.
As all this is happening, what's going through your mind in the middle of it?
I was in shock. I didn't know what to do.
Her son was on the ground, blood from his mouth pooling on the concrete. Drive stunned twice with a taser.
Did Atrium staff act appropriately in that incident?
Based on the events and you saw in the video, I would say they did the best that they could under the circumstances.
Maureen Swick is the executive over security at Atrium Health. She defended the security guard's actions, including tackling the boy from behind.
The officer at the time did what he needed to do to keep the young man from getting to the car.
He's not in the vehicle. His mother's standing right there. There doesn't appear to be any warning that he's going to jump on top of him. Again, is that appropriate and within the training guidelines for Atrium security officers?
Well, I think when we talk to our security officers, certainly there's always opportunities where we can do a better job and prevent an incident like this from happening again, and that's something that we intend to do.
But the violence didn't end there. After the two guards sat on top of the boy for at least 5 minutes, 4 Lincoln County Sheriff's deputies arrive on scene, tell the guards to get off the boy, and then pick him up. The boy, whose mouth had been pooling with blood, restrained on the ground, spits. Then a deputy punches him twice in the face while the boy's hands are cuffed behind his back.
Your deputy punched a 16-year-old with his hands handcuffed behind his back twice. Is that an appropriate use of force?
All I saw was once, and he was pushing him back away.
When you watch the video, you don't think your deputy punched the child in the face twice?
No, he did not punch him in the face.
Lincoln County Sheriff Bill Beam defended his deputy's actions, even behavior like this, where the deputy was so worked up, the video shows, he got in Jessica Long's face and had to be taken to the ground by a fellow deputy.
He did not tackle him. One went in between the two, and another reached and grabbed him by the vest and just pulled him right around the corner.
Well, they'd end up on the ground.
No.
If I'm a worried mother, and I'm worried about my child who has mental illness, should I be afraid to take my child to the ER at Atrium Health in the future?
Absolutely not. This was one incident. We have over 14 million patient encounters a year, and incidents like this rarely happen. And the actions that the officers took to keep others safe and to keep him safe were appropriate.
The people that I thought were going to help, they did nothing but make it worse. They created a situation that should have never happened.
If you can't go to the hospital, where can you go?
Nowhere. I won't do it again.
Did the system fail your son?
Absolutely.
Now, the boy was arrested and charged with multiple misdemeanors and felony assault on a police officer. He was held in juvenile detention for 8 days before being let out by a judge. The charges are still pending as the sheriff's office, including the deputy that punched the boy in the face, insists that felony charge stick. Jamie, Maureen?
A felony against the young man.
Yes.
Did Atrium staff follow its policies and protocols?
Well, Jamie, that's a really good question. We put that question to the executive from Atrium. You saw in that piece. We'll have more of that answer tonight at 7:30 and On Your Side tonight.
Just one jaw-dropping moment after another in that report. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Nick. We'll see you at 7:30.